Hello, and welcome again to take 2 of a Fireside Chat with Mr. G about stuff that you already know that's freaking you out because you don't think you know it. Today's topic of our Fireside Chat will be subjects and predicates. Now, yesterday we talked about inverted order sentences, where you flip-flop the subjects and predicates all around. You may have a subject at the end of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence, verbs at the beginning and the end. And when we talked about inverted order sentences, we were flip-flopping them into natural order sentences that sounded weird, with the subject at the beginning and the predicate at the end, which is normal. Subject at the beginning, predicate at the end. That's how you've been learning subject and predicate literally since first grade, but here's the deal. I can tell that you know them because when you did the work, all your work was correct. However, at the end of our video, when I said, does anyone have any more questions? The reaction was this. Walking across the classroom, freaking out, eyes bugging. We don't know what to do. And then I said, okay,
Dear students, let's help. Please bring me your papers so that I can see what you've done. And what you did was 100% correct, which means you know it, but you don't know why you know it. Grammar works a lot like that. Since you were a tiny little infant, you have been trained to hear grammar, right? You can hear when someone speaks grammar incorrectly. That's what your brain has done with the subject and predicate. You know how it works, but you don't know why it works. And that is intensely frustrating to you. So we will return to the tiny whiteboard. Topic number 1, subjects. Ask yourself a very simple question. What is this sentence about? We'll underline it. Yes, ma'am.
Spot the dog.
This sentence, Spot the dog ran in the yard, is about Spot the dog. Now, we're not talking about simple subjects yet. We're talking about complete subjects. So I want all the words that are in the subject of the sentence. Spot the dog. It doesn't matter if this is a Spot the Dog book from when you were a little kid. It doesn't matter if this is a Percy Jackson series. It doesn't matter if it's Captain Underpants. It doesn't matter if it's a book you would read right before you graduate high school. In every sentence in the entire world that has ever existed, the subject is what the sentence is about. It's got a little confusing yesterday when we were talking about understood you. But in reality, those sentences don't pop up that often. We don't see them all the time. We see sentences like this all the time. Spot the dog ran in the yard. What is the sentence about? The sentence is about Spot the dog. The predicate is what is happening. And in order to figure out what is happening, we need verbs, because verbs give us action. But we also know verbs are tricky because there are lots of different kinds of verbs, of states of being verbs, helping verbs, action verbs. To get the complete predicate, we need all the verbs that exist within the sentence. Yes, sir?
Ran in the yard.
Spot the dog ran in the yard. Even though we've got a noun down here, yard, that's still part of the predicate because it's connected to the verbs. It tells us where he ran. We'll talk about those in a couple of weeks once we get things settled with inverted order and natural order and subject and predicate. Now, what I always do is this. In between the nouns and the verbs, that's where you change from subject to predicate. That's not a 100% reliable rule. It's only a 99.9% reliable rule. So, let's get one step more complicated. Spot the dog ran in the yard. What is the simple subject? The subject of the sentence, the answer to the question, what is the sentence about, in one word? Yes, sir.
Spot.
Spot. In one word, what is this sentence about? Why would it be wrong if I said this sentence was about the dog? Yes, ma'am.
Because it's not specific.
Because it's non-specific. Yeah, we know which dog. This is not about my dog or your dog. This is about Spot the dog. A specific dog. So, the answer to the question, what is this about, in as few words as possible, because sometimes, what if I said, Spot and Spotette, the dogs, ran in the yard? It would be a compound subject, right? One predicate about two subjects. But in this case, it's not. It's just about Old Spot, our friend. What is the predicate of this sentence? The one-word answer to the question, what is happening? Yes, ma'am. Ran. So, what then, students, will get into advanced simple subjects and predicates, if I gave you the sentence, Spot ran, period. 2 words, 1 punctuation. A lifetime of confusion. No, just 2 words, 1 punctuation. Is that a complete sentence?
No.
Oh, but I have tricked you. Does the sentence have a subject?
Yes.
Does that sentence have a predicate?
Yes.
Does that sentence have ending punctuation?
Yes.
So is it a sentence?
Yes.
Yes! Is it a good sentence?
No.
Not particularly. It's kind of boring. But not all sentences are fantastic and wonderful and spectacular. Some sentences just tell you that Spot ran. And the sentence, Spot ran, period, is a complete sentence. It's just not a good one. And so, formerly terrified students, to review, the subject is the answer to the question, what is happening in this sentence? No, I'm sorry. Getting a little nervous watching myself on the video. The subject of the sentence is the answer to the question, what is this sentence about? The simple subject is the answer to that question in 1 word, or as few words as possible. The predicate of the sentence is the answer to the question, what is happening in this sentence? The simple predicate is the answer to that question in 1 or very few words. Let's see our fire again. Be relaxed. Now, students, are there any questions about subject and predicate? Any questions at all? Yes, sir.
I don't get this thing.
That we can work on. I'm talking about subject and predicate questions as a whole.
Okay.
Do you feel less now?
Yes.
Good.